With the movement to Common Core and variations of that standard set, we've moved back to defining thinking and higher order thinking in the classroom with more certainty or uncertainty at times. We've had terms deeper learning, complexity, rigor, college and career ready, depth of knowledge, and transfer of learning. It's very hard to define what thinking is in a higher order thinking in a classroom. It's much easier to look at the characteristics of a classroom that includes higher order thinking. Warren Resnick had written that it's hard to define higher order thinking exactly, but that we can recognize higher order thinking when it occurs. The following are things that we can look for in the classroom that would help us recognize and say that these are features of higher order thinking. First thing would be that higher order thinking is non-algorithmic. And what that means is the path of action is not always fully specified in advance, and you need to take different approaches to completing a task. Next, higher order thinking is going to be complex. There's not a visible path from a single vantage point. The student is going to have to look at the problem from multiple views and perspectives to figure out how to solve or even approach the problem. Now, tasks that have multiple solutions, and not necessarily unique solutions, but applying solutions from other tasks in the past to meet your current needs is a form of higher level thinking, a form of transfer of learning. Now, I went to the dictionary to help me with this one, Nuance Judgment. Now, what it's looking for is an interpretation with subtle differences in the ideas or meaning of the task and the solution. People will judge the solution from different perspectives. Now, when students have to use multiple criteria and apply this criteria, sometimes there's going to be a conflict with the different applications. There's going to be a cost and price of the decision, action, money, time, the use of people. This is very authentic and will be a real-world scenario for your students. Higher level thinking is going to involve uncertainty. Not everything you need is known and is clear, and not everything that the student's going to use is going to be known to them in the beginning or clear to them in the beginning. They're going to have to work through that. This next feature falls much on the teacher, and that's to allow for self-regulation of the thinking process. You can't coach each and every point of the solution to the students. You're going to have to control scaffolding to let the students learn to think on their own. Many problems that have higher level thinking have apparent disorder or chaos. And you're going to have to impose meaning and find structure in that disorder or chaos. Now, the last feature that Resnick wrote about was higher order thinking is effortful. There's going to be considerable mental work needed to complete or work on the tasks or actions. Students are going to need to make judgments and learn to trust their actions to complete any kind of task that involves higher order thinking.